All right, some quick Dolphins news. This happened as we were filming the video you're about to watch. But the Dolphins signed Matthew Butler. They awarded him off of waivers, and they released UDFA defensive lineman Trayvon Rubka, the defensive lineman from Kentucky. But Butler, the newest Dolphin, has played 3 seasons for the Las Vegas Raiders, has really not been someone that got a lot of playing time. 15 games played in 3 years for the Vegas. Will likely just be a camp body, but the Dolphins swap out a UDFA for a veteran in Matthew Butler. We got a lot of Miami Dolphins news to discuss on today's show. I am Nic Rohloff. This is Dolphins Today. The official Miami Dolphins schedule will be announced on Wednesday afternoon of this week, but we already have one schedule announcement we'll talk about. Miami, they actually signed a cornerback to their offseason 90-man roster, and in a corresponding move, they released a player as well, a UDFA. We'll talk about those roster decisions at the end of today's show, but the schedule announcement that we are discussing is the Madrid game. The first ever game being played in Spain will feature the Miami Dolphins. Pretty cool if you ask me. And they are going to be playing Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. This game will be played at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time on November 16th in NFL Week 11. It is going to be very fascinating to have that. And it's technically a Dolphins home game. So the Dolphins do, unfortunately, kind of get screwed there, as they will only be playing 8 home games, 1 neutral site, 8 away games, rather than 9 home games, 8 away games. But, hey, it's going to be really cool being the first ever team, I guess, to play in Spain. And I want to make sure the people are subscribed to the channel, because we will have the full 18-week schedule, 17 games, the 1 bye week, revealed on the show tomorrow in the afternoon. So hit that sub button, rolling close to 70,000 strong here at Dolphins Today. Join the family right now. Now, this does have some impact other than just the announcement of playing the Commanders in Spain, right? Because when you've looked over the past 5-6 years as the NFL has continuously rolled out these games not played in the United States, most of the time, not all, but I would say there's a more than likely chance not, that the teams that play overseas get a bye week that following week, because added travel, the jet lag, they just want to make it more fair, because if that team that travels overseas has to play a team rested in the United States, well, that could create an unfair advantage. So with that game being played in Week 11, there is a high chance, I won't say it's guaranteed, but a good one, that the Dolphins will be having a Week 12 bye. Now, something also to note with that is that is the week before Thanksgiving. Every team plays that week, by the way. So Week 13, there are no byes. Everybody plays. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but I just did want to note, as we are 1 day away from the schedule release, that Miami will likely, I'm not saying guaranteed, have a bye in Week 12 following their game against the Commanders in Spain. Now, I also did want to share this, because why not? This is a lot of fun. After the announcement, as Dolphins beat reporters always do, this game's being played in November. So that's when it starts to get chilly, and it's a big talking point for us here at the channel, as we don't want to be playing cold weather teams on the road in November and December. Well, here we go. In Madrid, the average temperature for November 16th when Miami's playing is 58 degrees, so nothing cold. But I will say the average low at that time is also 41, but it is being played during the day, so it's more likely going to be in the 50s than the 40s. But you think Spain in November, and you're like, probably going to be warm. Not actually guaranteed. It could be warm, but it could also be cold. Let's move over to some Dolphins roster news now, because Miami did actually sign a cornerback. This happened on Monday afternoon. That move was Kendall Sheffield, and it's a fascinating signing, because this is a veteran player that was at Miami Dolphins rookie minicamp as a tryout, a former 4th-round pick out of Ohio State who has been around the league for a while now after being drafted in 2019. But Sheffield will try to come in and compete for a roster spot during OTAs, during the preseason, during training camp. Sheffield joining the Dolphins, though, primarily a nickel guy. And the interesting thing here is they have not signed a legit corner as of now in terms of actually impacting the team. Like, I don't want to get it twisted. Sheffield is not going to be someone that is seriously helping the Miami Dolphins. Getting to know him more, as I mentioned, former fourth-round pick out of Ohio State, 28 years old. He has appeared in a lot of games throughout his career. I mean, he played for the Falcons, the 49ers, the Titans, the Jets. Now, he has not played in a game, or excuse me, I should say started a game since 2020. And he has only played 167 snaps on defense over the past 3 years. Those snaps, by the way, all coming last season for the New York Jets. So he is not a player that I am going to anticipate getting a lot of run for this Miami Dolphins defense. Miami just must have liked what they saw from him to some degree during rookie minicamp tryouts, going through drills, leadership experience, to at least give him a shot to make the team. But maybe he could be a practice squad stash player as well. I want you to be honest with me. Did you know who Kendall Sheffield was before the Dolphins signed him? Hand up accountability? I did not. I did not do that. So let me know your thoughts. Type Y for yes, type N for no. I had to do my research on him. We're going to continue to look at what he will bring potentially to the table here, but let me know your thoughts. We know the Dolphins' cornerback room is not the best, right? Like, especially with Jalen Ramsey trade rumors still hanging over this roster. As we've continuously mentioned, a trade is more likely than not going to happen, but it is likely going to happen after June 1st, so the Dolphins don't have a massive dead cap hit for this upcoming season. Cam Smith is your CB2 right now. Kader Kohou is probably your best nickel. If you just take out Jalen Ramsey, Kader Kohou is your best corner, and he's a nickel guy. So you need to add people via free agency or maybe via trade. And Kendall Sheffield, sorry if you're watching, isn't going to cut it. Like, you still need to go out and grab a guy. And Rasul Douglas, by the way, is visiting the Seattle Seahawks on Tuesday. He apparently visited Miami late last week. It was not reported until today by Barry Jackson that he actually was in the Dolphins headquarters for a meeting. And the Dolphins offered Rasul Douglas a contract, but allegedly, according to Barry, it was not to the liking of Douglas, and he remains unsigned. But that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about Kendall Sheffield for now. Not the best cover corner. And like I mentioned, I'm not going to try to act like he's going to be an impactful player, man. He's been targeted a lot in his 909 snaps in coverage. It's not great when you're giving up nearly a 70% completion percentage and a QB rating of 105.9 when being targeted. It's not great, Jim. And he's given up 12.5 yards on a catch basis. Like, I don't know what to make of the signing. I'm not going to try to act like it's a big one. If you didn't hear earlier, remember he was a tryout at rookie minicamp over this past weekend. The Dolphins brought in a couple of UDFA corners, man. B.J. Adams from Central Florida. Brought in Ethan Robinson from Minnesota. They obviously drafted Jason Marshall Jr. in the 5th round. Just continuing to add to that cornerback room. He is someone who has played a lot of different spots in the NFL, like throughout his career. He's played 792 snaps as an outside corner, 462 in the slot. Played about 100, 200 snaps in the box as well. So maybe has some versatility in terms of his ability to move around on the back end. But I don't want to try to act like anything here. He's most likely going to be cut by Dolphins roster cutdown day in late August before the season gets started in September. Could just be a camp body. Could be someone to help mentor, push some of these other rookies that are brought into the building trying out for the team. Kendall Sheffield, welcome to the Miami Dolphins, but Miami still needs to sign 2 guys for sure that are going to hopefully be solid veteran presences. We're going to look at who the Dolphins released in just a second, but make sure you get your Dolphins jerseys for the season right now. It's never too early. At chatsports.com/Dolphins jersey, you can get rookie Kenneth Grant, rookie Jonah Saviinaya, Jalen Phillips, Tua Tagovailoa, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, any player you want, any size you want, any color, any style. If you want the throwback jersey, go ahead as well. And when those rookie numbers officially are finalized. Kenneth Grant said he's wearing 90, but those could change when it's actually official. They'll ship it out to you. Chatsports.com/Dolphins jersey. All right, this happened a couple days before the signing of Kendall Sheffield, but it is kind of a corresponding move, if you will. But the Dolphins released UDFA long snapper Kneeland Hibbett. And it's crazy how much we have talked about long snappers over the last, 96 hours? Like, we talked about the releasing of Blake Ferguson late last week. We talked about the Dolphins signing Joe Cardona on Friday, and now we're talking about the Dolphins releasing Kneeland Hibbett. It's just wild how much we're discussing long snappers, man. And when it comes to this move, it's clear that Joe Cardona is your long snapper. So there is some importance of discussing this right now because we thought it was going to be a battle between Blake Ferguson and Hibbett for the long snapping duty. And then Ferguson gets cut. It's like, all right, now it's going to be the UDFA from Alabama, Kneeland Hibbett. Well, then they signed Cardona. It's like, well, I guess it's going to be a competition between the longtime New England Patriot and the UDFA. Well, no, they got rid of the UDFA, which means it is going to be Joe Cardona as your long snapper. And in case you missed our video we did on Joe on Friday, 5th-round pick out of Navy in the 2015 NFL Draft by the New England Patriots, was named as an All-Dynasty member, was a Salute to Service Award winner in 2023, and was a 2-time Super Bowl champion with the New England Patriots. Has appeared in a lot of games, 20 tackles, over 157 games played, has a career PFF grade on special teams of 52.6. I do think it's an upgrade over Blake Ferguson. And an underrated part of this, and I know it's just a long snapper, but what is one thing we consistently talked about with the Miami Dolphins? They needed an upgrade in leadership. They needed an upgrade in locker room building and presence. Well, Joe Cardona knows what it takes to win at the highest level, being with the Patriots in the prime Tom Brady days of 2015, 16, 17, 18, and that second dynasty. I think he could help not just take over and kind of be the lead dog, if you will. That still needs to be to Mike McDaniel and some of these other top players, but he can help chime in and help lead this special teams unit that is basically brand new. New coach Craig Aukerman, new punter Ryan Stonehouse, still have Jason Sanders there, but you almost have a new entire room there in the special teams department. So hopefully a unit that was in the bottom 5 in the last 3 seasons gets a major upgrade with all those overhauls. All right, that's going to do it for today's episode. Appreciate everybody tuning in and hanging out with us here on Dolphins Today. Help us get to 70K subscribers. And as I mentioned, we will also have a full Dolphins schedule breakdown, analysis, and release tomorrow. So hit that sub button and stay locked in.